hello fans of photos or videos with 360 degrees and all nature enthusiasts. Join the editor Marian and we will walk from the small town of Rajec to the village of Rajecká Lesná. In the second part I will tell you something about Rajecká Lesná and you can enjoy the surrounding nature. The first written mention of the village comes from 1413, when Stibor of Stiborish granted hereditary mayor in Frivelda to Michał Vlach for his faithful services. Due to the fact that Frivelda is not yet mentioned in the urban inventory of the Lyatavsky manor from 1393, the origin of the village can be dated between the years 1393 to 1413. The name of the village can be stated that it originated from the German name Freiwald, which means free forest or free forest. This can be understood as a forest not yet occupied by the colonists, or even a forest from which no fees had to be paid. As for the 16th century, we can call it a chaotic period. The imperial army under the leadership of Katsiana, consisting of Spanish mercenaries, occupied a large part of northwestern Slovakia. The tax inventory of the Trenčín county from 1536 testifies to the fact that the mercenary spearmen burned and ravaged Frivelda. At the same time, they destroyed other villages of the Lyatavsky estate. Several sources about the village have been preserved in the archives of the Orava Composerat. From the middle of the 16th century until 1626, Frivelda belonged to the Lyatavsky castle estate and from 1626 to 1848 to the descendants of the Thurts family and co-owners, such as Rive, Pereni and others. Several documents have been preserved in the writings of these genera. In 1587, Rajec Thurtso issued a deed to his makeshift Jan Friveldsky, on the basis of which he donated to him and his descendants forever an inherited mare in Frivelda and its free land, pastures, mountains as well as the right to a mill and sawmill, for many services. František Thurts and him. This charter can be considered as the second very important document concerning the hereditary property in Frivelda. The mayor Michał Vlach had no descendants and his family died by the sword. Due to unjust and turbulent times, hereditary fortune was not occupied. The document of Rajec Thurts can be found in the document on the origin of the inheritance right of the Frivelds to the sculpture in Frivelda. The Friveld family retained their status of hereditary mayors until the second half of the 18th century, when Maria Theresa abolished the institution of hereditary mayors. These are mostly documents of the Lyatavsky manor. These documents contain a lot of valuable data not only about the manor, but also about the villages that belonged to it. It is noteworthy that Frivelda was mostly one of the most important municipalities, because both in the land registers and in other documents it is mentioned just behind the town of Rajec. Perhaps the most important sources in terms of relations between municipalities and the manor should be considered land registers, which contain a list of obligations of individual localities to the manor. In the canonical visitation from the beginning of the 17th century, it is written that the settlement of Frivelda is a small settlement, surrounded and hidden by a dense forest, to which a narrow road leads. It was difficult to find, and thus conquer by Turkish raids. The peculiarity was that each settler used the surname Friveldsky. The period of the Thurts family is documented by the land register written in Slovak from 1625, which mentions the common event of the sons of Jan Friveldsky. The document also mentions that members of Jan Friveldsky's family owned a mill, a sawmill and a malt house, from which they did not have to pay fees. In addition to the Friveldsky family, the mentioned land register also mentions other farmers and farmers who farmed in the village at that time: Michał Taman, Miers Miochs, Andris Ziman, Andris Georga, Jurek Shinanus, Martin Nemec, Ondrej Galik, Jana Vincel, Imrich Greus, Jacob Schwartz, Martin Frollo Balza Helms, Martin Zajatek, Michał Remata, Jano Gallo, Jano Bluna, Zakar Durian, Misko Kovac, Stefan Hulin, Tobias Friveldsky. The Thurts family founded Maja in 1604 in an effort to expand animal production. After the death of Rajec Thurts, The mayor fell into the hands of the Rivet family in 1627 and launched, called the 1720 Regional Regional Tax Inventory captures 18 farmers in revolt. In 1864, 63 peasants were registered, or 60